Rollin', 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 rollin',
Yeehaw! Hello, and welcome to Introductory Cattle Roping Techniques. This is the first video in a set of 3 that will start off by introducing you to the tools of the trade, followed by ground techniques used by professionals to perfect the art of roping. The first and most obvious tool is the rope. There are many different types of ropes. Most of the ropes used today are made of a nylon composite. Ropes can be picked up at your local feed and seed store. They cost on average $50. There are many different variables to consider when choosing a rope: density, length, and diameter, to name a few. The first rope we will introduce you to is the header rope. This rope is used to lasso the head of the cow. This particular rope is 30 feet in length and has a very soft density, making it a perfect rope for a beginner. The next rope is a heel rope. It is used to lasso the hind legs of a cow. The heel rope is 35 feet long and has a medium soft density. This makes it a little more stiff, which helps it to keep its shape during the throw. The third and final rope we will show you is the ranch rope. This rope is 50 feet long and lacks sufficient density to keep a loop open. This is not used during a rodeo situation, but is commonly used on the open range. The lack of density makes it difficult to throw and requires a professional touch. All the ropes are marked with a company logo, which includes the density, length, and diameter measurements. The next piece of equipment is a cotton glove. This glove reduces friction between the rope and the release hand. It is an imperative piece of equipment because the composition of the rope tends to burn the roper's hand easily. The last piece of equipment is a dummy steer head. This can also be purchased at your local feed and seed store for approximately $30. It can be attached to a bale of hay to simulate the steer. The most recognizable part of the rope is the little eye at the end. This is called the honda. The other end of the rope is inserted through the honda, creating the lasso. One of the most difficult things to do is the initial step of uncoiling the rope. Because of the rope's density, it is easy to coil or uncoil it. This is an example of how to do it successfully. The distance from the honda to your roping hand is called the spoke. Once uncoiled, it is important to make the lasso the right size for throwing. Too small, and the loop does not go around the head. Too big, and the cow runs directly through the loop. The best size depends on the roper. To accurately size the rope, hold out your roping hand parallel to the ground, like so. The bottom of the rope should be anywhere from 6 to 8 inches from the ground. While holding the rope, there should be 12 to 18 inches of slack from the honda to your gloved roping hand. This allows the loop to stay open when thrown. If the rope is thrown with insufficient slack, the loop will immediately begin to close. The opposite hand should have the rest of the rope with at least 4 coils left. When practicing with a roping dummy, it is important to get the right distance between you and the dummy. This should be 3 paces back and 1.5 paces over with your roping hand closest to the dummy. This is similar to the position you will be in when you are roping from your horse. The rope should always swing counterclockwise. The rolling of the wrist takes some time to get used to, but will become easier with practice. The roping hand should never leave your field of sight. The rope should always be parallel to the ground at your 12 and 6 o'clock, and perpendicular to the ground at your 3 and 9 o'clock. One vital key is that you see your target through the rope when it is directly in front, like so. When releasing the rope from the release hand, it is important to let it uncoil naturally while maintaining control. The release hand later will also be the hand in control of the horse's reins. When releasing the loop from the roping hand, you should aim at the steer's horn furthest from you. The momentum of the throw, if done correctly, will carry it over the rest of the head and the other horn. After you release the rope, it is important to follow through with your roping horn. This is a good technique to practice and will come in handy later while on horseback. After the follow-through comes the gather. This is where the slack is retrieved to ensure a successful catch. This gather hand is also used in dallying, which is wrapping the rope around the saddle horn to stop a fleeing steer. Hazards of dallying include getting your thumb caught in between the horn and the ever-tightening rope. This is a consequence of such an event. This concludes all that you need to know about the steps involved with roping from the ground. It is important to master these skills before moving on to roping from horseback. Once you can achieve 47 successful catches out of 50, you may then be prepared for our next video entitled Cattle Roping: Advanced Techniques from Horseback.